Good evening and welcome to the Posthumous Poetry Series Part 22. It was a really nice day today in Pittsburgh, at least. Didn't have to wear a coat. Probably the first day you didn't have to. And it was also one of those days, too, where the traffic was terrible and the buses were late, and getting all my have-tos done so I could get to India Palace in time for lunch was a real challenge today. It just seemed like there was no auspicious occurrences on the way in, and then on the way back it was fine. It turned out to be a nice day. While I was in the middle of all that, I was thinking about my poem for tonight, for the week, and there was one poem I wanted to read before April was over. About a decade ago, maybe a little longer now, I fell in love with Amsterdam and the Netherlands and the whole Dutch thing. I don't know how it happened that way. But I've made like 9 trips there, and wonderful trips, all of them. But this poem is about the 8th trip I made, and it was really a perfect trip. Every day was perfect. And as a side diversion, it had me and reinforced in me the idea that we encounter perfect moments in our life all the time, and we often just blow them off because we don't recognize them as such. We're looking in one direction, and the perfection is coming from another, so we miss it sometimes. One of the plus columns of life is the days of perfection, the moments of perfection that you can remember. And this is a poem about that. It's called 11 Days of Perfection, and it was weird because every day was perfect for 11 straight days of my life, So the poem begins kind of like as if I was writing postcards to someone about my trip, although I'm not intended to do that. I'm not trying to be clever. Maybe 2 things I'll tell you about if you want. I mentioned Philippe Petite. I don't know if you know Philippe Petite or not. And this was a diversion I wasn't prepared for, but Philippe Petite did something that no man ever did before, and no man ever did again, can do again. And what he did affected me in such a way when I saw it that I was both terrified and so moved by the beauty of his accomplishment. And what he did was, as you probably know, he walked across on a high wire between the Twin Towers in New York, right as they were building them. And if you've seen the documentary, it's kind of slow, but when you get to that moment, it just like fucks with you. It's called Man on a Wire. You should really check that out. I can't describe really the effect it had on me, and I can't describe exactly what it really meant to me. And I was surprised by the effect it had on me. But to me, it's about someone who can go out and do that very act with no net, death looking you right in the face, and yet you go out there. And not only did he walk on this wire, he laid down on the wire, and he sat on the wire, and he bounced the wire. And he was on that wire for about half an hour between the twin towers. That fucked me up when I saw that. I can't even tell you more about it. I had that same reaction almost when I was in the Van Gogh Museum on this trip I'm going to tell you about, and I'm going to reference anyway. When I went there, I now, when I go there for my vacations, I visit the Van Gogh. That's the first thing I visit, you might say, when I'm in the city. Once I get myself together and kind of recover from, my flight, then the next day I go to the Van Gogh. That's the first thing I do in terms of tourist attractions. I don't consider that a tourist attraction, but so when I went to the day one, the slapkamer, the bedroom by Van Gogh, was missing, and it wasn't there, and I was kind of bummed about it, because there were a few paintings not there when I went there. Then I spent the week in Amsterdam, and I went at the end of the trip, and there was the bedroom, and they had rejuvenated it, they had cleaned it and stuff, and when I saw the blue in the room, the bedroom that Van Gogh had used, it had the same effect on me, as powerful an effect as when I saw this thing about Philippe Petite. So I don't know where the glue is that joins them together, and I don't really care where it is, but that's kind of what was going on in the brain at that point. I mean, it was just like, I saw the blue, and it was so blue, and it was so pure, and it was so intense, and it was so, like, otherworldly blue, like, just punched you right in the fucking heart when you saw it, Then the other thing here, I might have gotten off a little bit here on the subject, but we'll see. I have this reference, gate, parasamgate. It comes from the Heart Sutra, and there's no way we're getting into the Heart Sutra tonight, or we're never going to get my poem read. Gate, parasamgate, beyond. That's Buddhist idea of how we do it. And everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I kind of rambled here a little bit, but what the fuck? I don't care. This poem is called 11 Days of Perfection. The weather was the warmest since 1947. Seeing the rejuvenated blue of Van Gogh's slapkamer, my soul did a philippe petite for my mouth. My nap at Zandvoort with a pillow of hashish took me gate, parasamgate, beyond dreams. The chicken fall at Akbar's Indian restaurant, an open-mouthed kiss of fire. The tulips shared their very cunnus with me. You know what I mean? A spiritual Photoshop. AMSTERDAM Vinny is such a sweet guy. I love being with him. I cry when we say goodbye. Last night, I dreamed I ran into my mom in Amsterdam. She had a girlfriend, also named Alvera, with young, long black hair, dark flowers painted on the ends. My mom's hair was short black with an impasto of gray. They seemed happy and a bit hip. I hugged her girlfriend for thanking her for taking care of Mom and for being sentient enough to bring her here. We all agreed would meet later on in a coffee shop. In my daydream, I'm dating Drita Davanzo for the TV show Mob Wives. I emailed Gina yesterday just to say I miss hearing from her. I don't expect I will. Not even in dreams.